Welcome to Life in Columbus, your pulse of what's going on in the 614. I'm joined by Oliver Chapman and Brad Winter, two of the top agents here in town who are our guys on the street. And my name is Ryan Miracle, your favorite mortgage lender. And we would love to hear from you guys in the comments. We're going to have a more upbeat episode this week and then have some good news about what's going on this weekend. It seems like it's going to be a busy weekend. Gentlemen, how are you guys?
Good, man. Feel like
good.
Good. You guys are looking sharp. Your studios are looking good. I love it.
Yeah, Brad with the new studio today. Look at that.
Finally. It's been Ryan, this has probably been a year in progress of me talking about it. So
a couple trips, a couple redos, but no, you guys are dialed. I like it. Like it.
Finally put it in the action.
Yeah, it's good. It's good. The dark and moody suits you guys well. Welcome to the team.
Yeah, we should do like a midnight night crew, episode. Because I feel like it's in the middle of the night right now. But no, this is live. It is Friday morning.
Good. So we have
our wives already think we're probably crazy if we get on the a podcast at midnight. They might think we have other issues.
Yeah,
something. There's something going on. We'll just tell them it's Dungeons and Dragons or something like that. Yeah. So it seems like there's a lot of positive things that are happening this weekend, from festivals to COSI kicking off some stuff. And it also seems like there's a couple big moves that are happening around town. And we're going to get into that here in a second. But one of the things that Oliver brought up is we have a lot of these municipalities from around town basically taking and retooling Main Street. So Oliver, let's start there. What are you seeing when it comes to these retools of different parts of town?
Yeah, it seems like everybody wants to revitalize Main Street, and that's a great thing because I think you traditionally think suburbs, and suburbs kind of get stale. It's all about the box stores and fast foods and things of that nature, just all about convenience. But I think developers are getting savvy and coming into meeting with these local municipalities and offering really great ideas to bring people in the community together. And these main streets are great because they just bring in a lot of local vendors, which is great because, like I said, typically in the suburbs, it's all about, national franchises. And I think people really want to see community, and that's what, these projects bring.
Yeah, I mean, I think, to that point, I look at Westerville, right? Uptown Westerville is a prime example of this. I think they're like the poster child of all the community and how they support Uptown Westerville. And I think there's actually an ordinance in that area that there can't be any like national kind of franchise or retailer. It all has to be family-owned businesses in that little corridor. So I think this is great. It allows for people who live out in the suburbs, like all of us, to enjoy where we live, right, and not get bored and have amenities and all those things.
Yeah, what's interesting about this is like, okay, so you go to Disney World in Florida, and one of the main attractions is Main Street. So not to be too punny, but like a lot of us did not grow up with a Main Street because we were in the suburbs and house farms were becoming a thing. But it's interesting to see kind of like a return to smaller, more intimate communities where it's more self-sufficient and you're not having to drive 30 minutes to go to a grocery store, which is fantastic. So I see this as an ultimate positive. But yeah, Westerville, Dublin, I'm hoping that we start to see each of the boroughs come on with this kind of stuff. And we actually, looks like we have our first international watcher. So welcome from Algeria. Thank you so much for joining us.
We made it. We made it.
We've gone international. This is great.
That's right.
Well, to this point, Ryan, I don't know if you guys have seen Fisher Homes. They're doing a whole development like in Old Powell, in old downtown Powell. They're building, how in Evans Farms they build kind of those row houses, those longer style homes. They're doing a community down there in that area, and I think that just goes to show they're seeing Old Powell. Old Powell's always been charming, but more things are being built around there and growing. And so I think, you're going to even see builders kind of step in maybe in some areas and try to help the growth of those main streets.
Yeah, I mean, I think looking at it, Evans Farms was kind of the first thing that came to mind as far as new developments, creating this like whole all-in-one footprint. So I was not aware of the PAL project. Are there any more of these kind of popping up, like builder-led projects?
I think their proposal, I know Plain City's doing something. It looks like Delaware's
Mhm.
doing something. I know Gahanna's about to get something done. Even places like Heath, I saw where, either really outlying, areas, smaller towns, London. And I think that they want to keep their people local. So
Yeah.
you see this going on everywhere.
Yeah. The only place that's not doing it is New Albany.
Yeah. Well, you guys kind
Why
of
do you
have.
think that is?
So that's my only beef. But yeah, I mean, you're seeing it pop up all over, right? So Plain City is going to be, I think Plain City is a prime example. I have a friend who he owns a ton of the commercial space down there that has been redeveloped, and they're bringing in a brewery from Troy that's coming in. He just opened up like a cigar and whiskey lounge. That's like a private club. It's like pay $50 a month, and you can just go to this lounge in one of these old buildings and have cocktails. And so they're doing a bunch of these things because he also sits on like the city council in Plain City, and he's was a proponent of like, if we don't get our things in gear, Dublin is going to keep buying up all of our land and just becoming more Dublin. So we have to do these things to keep people that live in Plain City here, but attract more people as well.
Yeah.
So, go ahead.
No, I said, yeah, Jerome's got plans. I was even driving through Shawnee Hills last night. I was going out to a showing, and they're building like a brewery in Shawnee Hills. They're already building another. Actually, there should be two breweries going into Shawnee Hills. Shawnee Hills is just a little township. It obviously
Yeah.
caters to Dublin because Dublin, it's like right in the doorstep of Muirfield. But for a little township, they're cashing in. I mean, they know they get so much of the Dublin traffic through there. So it got me really excited because it's like 5 minutes from my house and
Mhm.
looks like a really cool building. Actually, I saw the rendering, when they put up on the side of the construction site of what it's going to look like. And I didn't even hear about it. It was just crazy. I just started driving down, and all of a sudden, here we go, another brewery.
So, Brad, to your point, Plain City giving up land to Dublin, and this is something I've always wondered, but never really spent the time to research. But like, can Dublin force an annexation, or any municipality force an annexation from a municipality next door? Because that's basically what Olentangy did. So is it that they can force a sale, or is it just that Plain City is willing to give up this land to Dublin to pay the bills?
I don't know the inner workings. I would assume it's just how New Albany did with Intel. All that land, wasn't technically New Albany land. It was Johnstown, and it got
Mm.
annexed to New Albany. So it's now, a New Albany address. So I'm assuming they could probably do the same. I mean, there's parts of Jerome that's Plain City address, Dublin schools. Some of it's Plain City address, Plain City schools, or North Union, I think, even at the top. So I think they can just buy this farmland up, and then there's probably some way that they can get around not keeping it for Plain City, but making it part of Dublin. I'm sure there's a way to do it,
Yeah,
but I
that
don't
is.
have any experience, or I haven't seen like the inner workings of it.
All I know is the municipalities are on the hook for infrastructure long term. So when you start building out faster and faster, they're so short sighted. It's how some of these like even major cities like right now, like Houston, they're going bankrupt because they incentivize all this development, and then the city didn't have any long term plan how to, you know, finance the infrastructure to maintain those areas that are being built out. So I think, if you are a Plain City, maybe you're like, yeah, Dublin, like have at it. We don't want to foot the bill when it comes to, maintaining the infrastructure. That's just a guess.
Yeah, and yeah, I mean, we were at the economic forecast in like February or something like that, and they said that's one of the things that Columbus has done really well is controlled the growth, and they kept looking to Houston and Austin as the examples of what we don't want, of having it just grow like a weed, and then having no place to put people, or, and you, like to your point, Oliver, having no cash to be able to keep up with these promises that they've made. So I think Columbus has done a pretty good job so far, and we're going to continue to grow slowly but the right way.
Well, and I know we talked about this on a previous episode, but I think builders will eventually make these communities a part of their plans. We talked about how there's places in Florida, for what's the place that everybody go, the Villages, for instance, like in
Yeah.
Florida, right? Like that's just one big community now. Now, I'm not
Right.
saying that's going to happen to that scale, but I think eventually, because people will want it, the demand will be there, and somebody will lead the charge, and then everybody just copycat them, right? And so it'll eventually happen to you'll have these communities in new developments instead of maybe the existing suburbs that we have.
Yeah. I think you incentivize people getting to move into those areas, like, because I call them like pioneering. Like, you got to move somewhere that's on the fringe, and only really get people to incentivize to move out to those areas is like building up the commercial corridor. And in these cases, yeah, that's Main Street. That is your commercial corridor because that's what's going to house, all your shopping, your conveniences, your restaurants, your barbers, your, daycares. Like, that's what has to be thought out. And too many times I see like we build, we just keep building these large subdivisions, but there's like really no like amenities to go with them, and they're kind of stale. And like, I love it too, and I incorporate like schools in the neighborhood, so like people,
Yeah.
kids can, parents can walk their kids to school, kids can ride their bikes to school, like how it's supposed to be, versus like having to drive across town. So like those things I really love to see when they get creative. But too many times we're just building the houses, but nothing in terms of those commercial corridors to like people to use. Even downtown, like when I lived in Italian Village downtown, even though that you had like High Street right there, it didn't really start popping off. And I always said this, I said, man, like 3rd and 4th streets have so much potential. And finally, when they started investing and building those breweries up and down the road there and the markets that they put in, all of a sudden, that's when all the activity came for people to live there residentially. So I just firmly believe like with any type of growth, like you have to think about that commercial impact.
Yeah, if you build it, they will come. So seems like we have another, and once again, I'm not going to be a weirdo about it, but like another celebrity that's buying into brands here in Columbus. So we had Mark Wahlberg before. We have the guys from Rascal Flatts, and now we have Ryan Reynolds staking his claim to Columbus. So once again, this is probably a smaller story, and it's not necessarily impactful, but it is interesting that Ryan Reynolds just bought into Homage, the clothing store, which is from here in Columbus. So once again, I can't tell you how many pieces of Homage that we have in our house between the three of us, but they're doing well, and it's good to see that they got the attention kind of on a national scale.
I'd be curious to see like what was the the reasoning behind the investment. I don't know. I didn't read the article yet. Did it say are they doing are they pioneering like into a restaurant or other things, or because I know Ryan is huge sports fan and obviously he has all the Marvel stuff and he owns a soccer team. I know, so I could see why he probably takes some interest. But I was just curious on, I guess, what the long-term play for these guys are.
Yeah, I think they saw potential. At least what the article is saying is here is they saw potential in Homage's growth on a national scale, and they gave the capital to them to be able to take it outside of just Columbus. And I know they have stuff elsewhere, but
right.
I don't know. Yeah, I mean their licensing is just it goes all across pro sports now. It was just collegiate. I mean, mainly just Ohio State and
pretty much
local high universities, but now it's like they've got licenses for every major sports franchise. I know Taylor Swift was rocking something. She was rocking like Chiefs gear or something, and then all of a sudden people are like, "Well, what's Homage?" And that exploded their sales. And
yeah,
this was great. And what's interesting? It's hard to like have like basically like a t-shirt company like do what they have done. I mean, there's they do sweatshirts and stuff, but mainly just t-shirts, right? Like that's their bread and butter, and they have just been steady as it comes, and that's great. I think it's awesome for us.
I agree.
Speaking of one more. Oh, sorry.
You good? Go ahead.
I was like going to ask you guys, did you see the announcement with Guy Ferrari and his restaurant at the casino?
Oh God, no.
He's Mr. Flavortown. So I think it was last week, maybe there was an announcement he's putting in his restaurant and in the casino.
His restaurants don't seem to do very well.
Well,
Now, is this the diners and dives guy?
Yeah.
He's got the spiked, like, frosted tips.
Boy band hair. I used to have boy band hair.
But I'm pretty sure he had a restaurant here. I don't even think it's around. When I travel, like, again, he kind of caters to more of a tourist crowd. And it's like, I'm always in Yelp or something, and it's like 2 stars. And, I'm like, how does this guy's restaurants always fail? And then, like, you're supposed to have, like, the Flavortown Festival here. I don't even think it ever got off the ground.
It got canceled.
But I don't hate the guy. I love his show. I mean, like, seriously, he's, entertaining, but just whatever reason, every time I hear like Guy Fieri's coming, I'm like, when, where? I mean, it never happens.
Well, speaking of stuff for sale, we have Gravity, who we've talked about a couple different times here on the show, is up for sale.
Yep.
So if you can dig in your couch cushions, you might be able to snag this awesome piece of property. I've been in this place a couple times, and it's really, really cool.
Let's do a fundraiser. Let's put a pack together. Let's buy
it. I think it's an interesting piece. It's huge, and there's like 4 or 5 buildings that are in this footprint. But it's surprising to see that it's up for sale so soon, specifically since rents continue to go up. I wonder what
did they already sell Gravity 1? Did they already sell Gravity 1, or does he still own that?
It's a good question.
This is, Ryan, actually, most like developers in the space, this is an exit strategy. They go into this, stabilizing it. And this is where they really cash in. So they make money on the front end to get it built, and then on the back end on the sale. So they get it, rented, stabilized, and then because it's, A class, and A class rarely come up for sale. So they'll probably make out pretty well in this, because that whole area, I just love what they're doing to the side of mile, and that's going to continue to develop. So this is probably part of their exit strategy. I don't think it's because they're having financial problems.
Yeah, that makes a ton more sense. I never considered that, but you are probably spot on with that, sir.
We were down there last night at the the bar on top of Junto Hotel down there. Oliver, have you guys been down there to the Junto Hotel?
No, I haven't been to the Junto Hotel. Not yet.
So it's right there on the same strip as all of this. And there's a bar on top. We were at an event last night, and it has panoramic views of the city. And you guys remember when that place was, it was awful, right? And you look around, and it's just like beautiful buildings and the greenery, and you can see right in the downtown. And, it's definitely, we talk about like progress and the speed of things. Like that came up out of nowhere. I mean, right? That started during COVID, like sometime 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago, something like that. And now it's just, it's awesome. It was really a really fun event we were at, but also just seeing the views of the city from a different perspective.
I was going to say, can you see river views from that rooftop?
Yeah.
Yeah. It years ago, when you always went over there, I said it has the best views of the city. And I knew one day, I knew Nationwide was heavily invested into developing that area. You just didn't know when it was going to come. And it's finally like exploded. There's like $5 billion in development that's going on down there. But it just has beautiful views of the city. And I think long term, I just think everything's going to migrate out of the short north over to that side of the city, or, be some type of balance between those two, because, short north gets all that, that business downtown and the weekends and at nighttime. But I just really love that we have this river in the city, and we never utilized it. And now we are.
Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah.
We'll see. I like to see what it'll trade at. It'll be a big number.
Yeah.
Well, stay tuned. We'll fill you in as soon as we see the numbers. But it also seems like we have a lot of activity going on now that spring has sprung. We have the Urban Living Tour, which is coming back. So that's going to go through a bunch of different parts of town. Where'd my article go? But here we go. It's up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop this link in the chat. So if you're interested and going and getting around town and seeing what different places are available for sale to upgrade your lifestyle, my first recommendation is to call one of these 2 handsome gentlemen first, and they'll set up a lot of these showings. But so there's a lot of unique properties coming to town that are already here. So I highly suggest, if you're in the market to try to upgrade your living or change where you're at, call Brad, call Oliver, and they'll get you dialed in for these tours. But there's a lot of tours going on this weekend, so check that out. Anything you guys want to add to that?
Yeah, no, there's some really cool,
Yeah.
new architecture coming into downtown.
Yeah, it's
Um,
cool.
yeah. I consulted years ago with like Kaufman and telling them like, if you build it, they will come, meaning like, if you don't go the economic route, just like if you do build something architecturally significant, I think it's going to do really well downtown. And I think we're finally starting to see, getting out of that just really stale mold that we build a lot of apartments with. And I still think we could go even more modern. I still think like we have a very traditional build style here in the Midwest, and it's to our
Yep.
palate. Like, again, that's just what people are used to. But even I saw today, like, Florida is borrowing a lot of West Coast designs, because I freaking love like West Coast architecture. I think it's very clean, and I just love it. But they're building more of that, and I hope that we get to see some more of that in the future too. Because they're asking
Different is
for
better
it.
than
A lot of
better.
people ask for it all the time, so we don't have it yet.
Yeah. People always ask, like, is this the only style of houses you guys build or have? Like, yep,
Yeah.
this is it.
That's it.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah,
If
different's
you
better than
want
better.
if you want a glass box, build it yourself.
That's right.
Yeah.
Nobody else is going to do it.
Good luck selling it and appraising it. Also seems like we have a lot of activities that are happening this weekend. Also going to drop this article in there if anyone wants to see it. It's going to be in the comments of the video. So there is a ton of festivals, farmers markets. It kind of seems like the city's coming back alive again with activity. So if you are bored this weekend, that is only your fault. So get out there, check out the article. What are you guys getting into this weekend?
Well, Ryan, we got to work. We got houses to show. I got 2 open
Oh,
houses.
boy,
So
yeah.
I won't get out to enjoy any of this. But
I'm working all weekend. The only thing I am doing, I'm going to give my mother a plug here. Old Pal is having their arts festival, and my mom is a potter. She makes ceramics, and she's been going there the last 4 years. So we're going to go visit her. I haven't seen her in a while. So nice.
you gonna buy something?
We're going to go up. We're going to. I like to, swindle a deal with my own mother on some freebies, But yeah, this is great. I love this time of year in Columbus. Every weekend they have festivals going on. I think we do a great job of festivals. I love a lot of the stuff that they do. And I know Gallery Hop will be starting up again. Even here in New Albany, the farmers market's starting soon. And this is just a great time of year. And like Brian said, like, if you're bored, this is on you. There's a lot of stuff to do here.
Yeah,
I agree. Yeah, one of the things we're probably going to be checking out is COSI we're big science nerds in our house. So COSI is doing their big thing this weekend. I am sure it is going to be an absolute zoo there. So it'll be interesting to see if they're going to have the fire marshal kicking people out.
Ryan, did you say you're going to this?
Probably not, because outside of us being science nerds, we're also a little bit agoraphobic and don't like crowds. So we'll probably go to COSI when it's less busy. What was that?
You're such a suburbanite.
I am. Yeah, we are neurodivergent in our house, and lots of stimulation we try to stay away from. Yeah. Let me see here.
I was driving downtown a lot yesterday and saw a lot of tents getting, put up for all these things that are going on, which was really cool. You feel like a little bit of energy in the air when I was down there. And I don't go down there a ton, but anymore. But it was pretty cool to see everybody's out walking around. Downtown was pretty alive, and I think it's like a good time of year for people to get out and do some stuff.
Yeah, it's fair season, man. So
very true. Very true. Well, so to that point, since you're going to be out and about, it seems like public safety has kind of come back on the radar. So specifically with these large events, I'm sure security is going to be out and they're going to be doing their best to stay, to keep everyone safe. But like with what's going on the OSU campus, do you think that that's going to spill out into any of these weekend activities elsewhere?
Has it been that bad on campus? I haven't really checked the news for that.
I saw a few things early this week. It looked like some stuff got a little dicey. I don't know what's been going on in the latter part of this week, but I would assume that maybe not like the festivals necessarily, but if there's like a big event or something,
Mhm.
maybe. Um, but who knows? I mean, people are people. Who knows?
Yeah, that's a good point. They might, who knows? I don't want them. I'm not gonna, rain in anybody's parade. Trying to enjoy these festivals, but yeah, people might use them for, their awareness for the causes that they're protesting right now. But hopefully, it just stays confined to OSU's campus because I think people don't, they're trying to escape all that.
Yeah, they use these events to escape that.
Yeah, exactly.
Fair enough. Yeah, I've been downtown a couple of times over the last 6 months, and pretty much every time I'm downtown, there's a march or a street closed off for a potential march that's coming through at some point that day. So it's been, with Columbus being kind of this mixed bag of, and not to get into politics, but between liberal and conservative, you kind of have these two different communities, ideologies, whatever. You're going to have this intermixing consistently. I just didn't know if you guys have heard anything of any marches to stay away from this weekend to still enjoy the activities that we've been talking about. I don't know, just new stuff.
Yeah.
Not yet.
I do caution people when they live downtown. You have to check the marathon schedules because I can't tell you how many times I would wake up in the morning and try to get across High Street, and then it's blocked. I go down further and I go down further, and it's like the whole damn downtown's like shut off because there's a race in the morning. So if you're new to downtown, definitely pay attention to when some of these like 5Ks and marathons are going on because you're not going to be able to get anywhere.
Don't list your house on marathon weekend.
Yeah, that's another. I've done that with open houses. Like nobody can even get to our listing because all the streets are shut off.
Yeah.
Can you imagine the one person that has to coordinate all this stuff between the festivals, the marathons, the parades, the marches? I could not imagine that person having much sleep day to day.
Yeah, I know.
A lot of moving parts on that one.
No doubt. No doubt. All right, gentlemen. Well, we kind of reached the end of our news cycle, or the stuff that's at least interesting for this weekend. Anything you guys want to add before we adjourn for this week?
No, I think you guys, great show today. It's good seeing you guys.
Yeah. Brad, anything?
Nope. I'd say just go enjoy the weekend, and it was good seeing you guys as well. And let's let the studios do the talking now, right? We're all set up. We're ready to go. We're official.
Bright and shiny. Love it. Love it. So I appreciate you guys for watching. For the people who commented and joined us today, thank you. We're grateful for the audience, all two of you. Thank you. And for our first international audience member, we're grateful for you. I don't even know if you're still watching or not, but all the same, we are Life in Columbus, your pulse of what's going on in the 614. We do this show every Friday starting at around 10:30. We'd love for you to join us. And if you're interested in coming on and joining us as a guest, feel free to reach out to any of us as the same. So appreciate you guys. Have a good weekend. Stay warm, stay dry, and go enjoy your blessings. Talk to you guys next week.
All right.
See y'all.
See ya.